We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
There are many parallels between the fall of Rome and America today. One should read Anthony Everett's Rise of Rome, which tells the story of ancient Rome from its founding to the fall of the Roman Republic. And then also Lawrence Lessig's Republic Lost, which covers the corrosive effect of money on our political process. And what we are witnessing is the loss of our Republican form of government as politicians increasingly represent those who fund their campaigns rather than our citizens. When you read these two books together, you will find striking parallels between our failings and the failings that destroyed the Roman Republic. As with Rome just before the Republic's fall, America has seen staggering increases in the cost of elections with dubious campaign funding sources. During the late Roman Republic, elections became staggeringly expensive with equally deplorable results. Caesar reportedly borrowed so heavily for one political campaign he feared he would be ruined if not elected. During the late Roman Republic, one of the main roads to wealth was holding public office and exploiting such positions to accumulate personal wealth. Congressmen, senators, and their staffs leveraged their government service to move to private sector positions, in and out of the FDA and Monsanto, for example. This is what we're dealing with here today. The same circumstances that led to the fall of the Roman Empire. Given the financial arrangement where these people are paid 3 to 10 times their government compensation going in and out of private sector positions, their focus is therefore not so much on the people who sent them to Washington, their focus is instead on those who will make them rich. That's a quote from Republic Lost. Continuous war. A national state of security arises, distracting attention from domestic challenges with foreign wars. Similar to the late Roman Republic, the U.S. for the past 100 years has either been fighting in a war, recovering from a war, or preparing for a war. That's World War I, World War II, the Cold War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, the Afghanistan War, and the War on Terror, which continues to this day. And interestingly enough, the fall of Rome came with the invasion of barbarian tribes, like these jihadists are barbarians. But we have this continuous war that's been going on. War on women, the war on gays, the war, everything's war. War on racism. Everything is used to divide us, keep us at each other's throats. It's disgraceful. So, we have foreign powers lavish money attention to the Republic's leaders. Foreign wars led to growing influence by foreign powers and interests on the Republic's political leaders. True for Rome and true for us. In the past century, foreign embassies, agents, and lobbyists have proliferated in our national capital. As one specific example, a foreign businessman donated $100 million to Bill Clinton's various activities. Clinton opened doors for him and sometimes acted in ways contrary to stated American interests in foreign policy. This is true. This is continuous. Profits made overseas shaped the Republic's internal policies. As the fortunes of Rome's aristocracy increasingly derived from its wealth from foreign lands, Roman policy was shaped to facilitate these fortunes. American billionaires and corporations increasingly influence our elections. In many cases, they are only nominally American, with interests not aligned with those of the American public. In the period just before the Roman Republic's fall, the Roman middle class was crushed, destroyed by cheap overseas slave labor. Now, this is really a big parallel right here, because this is what's been going on with this deindustrialization of the United States, sending all the jobs out overseas, now bringing in more slaves through this open immigration system, because that's all they are. These people don't realize that they're coming to the land of the free to be enslaved. In the period just before the Roman Republic's fall, the Roman middle class, as I said, was crushed. Rome's late republic used various methods to reduce the power of common citizens. There are many parallels to the Roman Empire and the fall. There was debauchery and immorality and wickedness. And the media has just been, since the 60s, been pushing the envelope with nudity, sexuality, violence. And you say to yourself, well, why? Is it just because it's entertainment? Is it really entertainment, or is there something a little deeper than that? That's for us all to find out. But no doubt, we're heading down a path to financial ruin, economic collapse, and overextension. We should learn from Rome's mistakes. But sadly, most people have to take painful lessons to learn anything in this world. It's a sad truth. These parallels are fiendishly similar. You've got the rise of radical Islam as the barbarians, which finally conquered Rome. You have the economic problems and the over-reliance on slave labor. And same thing here. Widening the gap, constant wars and overspending, significantly lightened imperial coffers, and oppressive taxation and inflation widen the gap between the rich and the poor. It's happening today again. The migration of the barbarian tribes, the arrival of the Huns. I mean, it's outrageously similar. So these illegal aliens are not unlike the barbarians. And oh boy, I'm gonna call me a racist now, but they are. I mean, looking at it from the perspective or an analogy, some more things to think on. Thank you for watching Truth Talk News. I'm Howard Nema. Check out Truth Talk News Live and Freedom First Films on YouTube.
We are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy to get people actually to love their servitude. First of all, to standardize the population, to iron out inconvenient human differences, to create, so to say, mass-produced models of human beings arranged in some kind of a scientific caste system. A number of the predictions which were purely fantastic when I made them 30 years ago have come true or seem in process of coming true. That a number of techniques about which I talk seem to be here already, and that there seems to be a general movement in the direction of this kind of ultimate revolution, this method of control by which people can be made to enjoy a state of affairs which, by any decent standard, they ought not to enjoy.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.